All right, I think the recording has started. So, hello everyone, welcome to the third part of this horrible series, and thank you for actually making the third part if you watched parts one and two. Uh, this is the finale, the long-awaited finale, and because it's a very serious topic, I have my Christmas mug because it's the 5th of September. So, um, let's see. As is tradition, I have done no preparation, but yeah. Pardon me? Okay. 50 seconds in. Wonderful. So, the previous video on this beautiful series was in April, and a lot has happened since. So much that I don't remember. I just sneezed again. So much that. Never mind, I don't need to sneeze. So much that I don't remember what happened. But I am pretty sure that by April I was done with all of my IAs. So we'll go from there. All IAs have been finished. And now, what happens next? Good question. I don't know. Might need to sneeze again. Anyways. Um, so, how do I organize this? Okay, so by April, I had already done. So by the start of April, I had done no real studying, to be fair. Then, I basically stopped going to school in April. So that was a pretty fun time while I was studying. To be fair, I was doing one math past paper a day. I was alternating between paper one, paper two, and in the end, I did all of them. And that felt fantastic because I got a folder which had every single math past paper from 2014. So all the math AAHL past papers and all the math HL past papers. And so I had a physical product of my preparation. Now, my studying for other subjects was relatively lacking. For physics, I did some past papers, but I actually did quite a few. I was pretty organized there as well, but not as extensive as for math. What other preparation did I do? For business, whenever I would study at the mall, I would do some business balance sheets or so. I did all the past paper questions for the first section in the business exam, which is literally such a brain dead part of the exam. It's just balance sheets and stuff like that, profit loss accounts. So if you can remember your name, you can probably do those kinds of questions with no prep really. But yeah, what other prep did I do? Um, let's see. Spanish. I truly did such little preparation for my Spanish exam. The day before, I got a small notebook and I wrote down all the grammar cases for verbs and stuff like that. It wasn't that helpful, but during the exam, um, some tenses came to mind, so that was kind of helpful, but it wasn't crazy. Spanish, computer science. I did, I did some past papers, but not that much. Relaxed. I have to blow my nose. Wonderful. Langlet. Langlet is the class that I was trying to study for, but I could not figure out. And in the end, I am proud to announce that I failed in studying for Langlet, but all went well. We'll get to the results later. But Langlet is impossible to study for. Impossible to study for. It's just memorizing like a structure, and praying. Let's see. I think those are all my subjects. So, if I had to judge my pre-exam preparation, I would say that I was that math would be fine no matter what, no matter what, and that every single other class I was good at, but I was not that confident. Like for math, I knew like I had done so much studying, and the past papers had become so easy that I knew I was going to get a seven in math. But the other subjects, I wouldn't like bet on myself. So what happened? I guess I should go through the exams roughly or not, but somehow while studying during April, I got sick during Easter without ever going outside, by the way. And that illness carried over until the very first exam, but I felt fine during the exams. Um, Weird how that happens, but I felt fine. Uh, for example, I wrote the first exam, which was business management paper one. Uh, it went fine. I felt great, but then by the time I got back home, I was so tired and I felt sick. But by the time we got to like the third, fourth exams, I felt fine. Every single exam was okay. It became a routine. I walked into the exam hall. I wrote some crap. I gave my papers. Yeah. Not no moments really stand out. It was all very procedural. Um, I can't really complain. This is a very boring video. I don't have much to say to be honest. So, with regards to results, I needed to get 38 out of 42. 38 out of 42. Oh, before I get there, oh, actually, I should say this part first. 38 out of 42, which means two sevens and four sixes, or higher, a combination of those kinds. So I knew I was going to get a seven in math, and I was pretty confident that I would not get a five or below in any other subject, but I wasn't sure about the other subjects. I knew that I had seven potential, but I wasn't sure. Um, I must say that what made me really happy is my IAs because I learned that Dr. Siropoulos, I shouldn't say his name, anyways, the English teacher, used and showed my IA to the then juniors who are now seniors. Good luck to them, by the way. As a demonstration of a good IA, and I'm really happy about that because it is really such a brain dead, such a retarded assignment. With all due respect, it is such a dumb project. It is so unbelievably stupid. And while I was working on it, it felt so soulless. And I'm sorry for my nose, by the way. It's a bit cold here. It's the 5th of September, anyways, and the weather changed rapidly. Anyways, the English IA genuinely so weird. But in the end, um, before the previous video was uploaded, uh, I sat down on Monday. I didn't go to school on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. Anyways, I started writing my things on Monday on paper, and then I would just recite them and only look down when I needed to. Yeah, so I learned the speech. Uh, it's important to not get too caught up on the details. Just learn the basic ideas. So I knew, for example, like I have to mention these three ideas and screw the wording and whatnot. Yeah, I was basically parroting whatever the teacher had said, using fancy words, metaphors, invokes imagery, alludes to Martin Luther King, blah blah blah. I was talking about racism, sexism, discrimination, the usual stuff. Yeah, so that went well. So I'm very happy about that because up to that point, I had paid very little attention to the English IA. So that was a morale boost. Okay, so what other hints did I have about my results? Math, I knew I was going to get a 7. Physics, my IA was good. Probably not 7 level though. Computer science, my IA was good again, not 7 level. Business, the teacher told me my score. I was uh, either a very high 6 or a very low 7. Oh, and I should also mention, I also knew my HL essay was a very high 6 or a very low 7. Um, Spanish, the oral. Actually, now that I think about this, this was so lucky because I did negative preparation for this, but everything just went well. So I knew I was at a 6 or 7 for that. Sorry. High quality videos. So, more water. Oh, my laptop screen is breaking and now I can't see it. This is so scuffed. Oh, there we go. Because whenever my laptop screen is not at the perfect angle, it starts flickering and it's impossible to use. Anyways, and at some other angles it just turns black. So, oh, oops. So score-wise, I was pretty confident that I had gotten 38 out of 42. And so, yeah, I mean, how do I prolong this? How do I build the suspense? So scores come out on the 5th of July, if I remember correctly. Formally on the 6th. And I got, how do I got 44. I got 7s in all subjects, and I got BB in TOK index and essay. Some things I should mention. Let's see. Firstly, I'm pretty proud of this. I got 16% more than the grade boundary for math, so it was pretty comfortable. Um, and I'm also proud that I got 10% above the 7th grade boundary for physics, so that was also pretty comfortable. Now, regarding the BB, the extended essay and TOK were not focuses of mine, but I still would have liked to get the 3 extra points, obviously. What was interesting is that both were 1 mark away from being an A. And if you don't know, to get the 3 extra points, you need either AB, BA, or AA. And I had BB. And so, both being 2 marks away, sorry, both of them being 1 mark away from an A, I filed to regrade both. And unfortunately, neither were increased, both remained. So, 44, not 45. What can you do? But to be fair, I can't really complain because I got 81% in English, whereas the grade boundary for a 7 was 80. Did I say that? Basically, if I had gotten 80 in English, 1% less, I would have gotten a 6. So it goes both ways. I just barely got a 7 in English, and I just barely got a BBs in the other one. And I am so happy about the 7 in English. I don't care about anything else that much. The 7 in English made me so happy. Um, because I was very clueless about that subject as a whole. And I will get to that now, pretty much. So I get my scores. First informally, then the next day they are formally released. I also get an email from university saying, yeah, you're admitted. So yeah, uh, uh, which brings me to the next big part of the video, apartments. So I got into uni, into ETH Zurich, and I was pretty confident that I would get in. But what I was really scared for is housing, because housing in Zurich is awful. in terms of affordability and actually finding it. Uh, and I should have started looking earlier, but I didn't. So at some point on August, maybe not in August, to be fair, in late July, I started looking. I started sending out a bunch of emails, uh, and the problem is that the Swiss housing culture is very weird, and I don't really want to complain because I'm a foreigner. But what's interesting is that if they reject you, they don't send an email saying no, sorry. They just don't respond at all. So of the 80 uh, applications I sent, I got like three semi-positive responses of basically, yeah, let's talk and we'll see. I got maybe five no's, and the rest were just silence. So that was kind of awkward. Regarding the semi-acceptances I got, they were basically like, yeah, you seem okay. Now join the video call along with 10 others, and of you 10, we'll select one. And I got into two such video calls, but both times I was not selected. So there goes that. Uh, yeah, it's crazy. The competition is horrible. In the end, my dad also sent out 80, and we went to Zurich and we visited six. Oh, we visited six. And one, thank God, took me. I basically have a room and a bathroom in an apartment. Yeah, with an old lady. What can you do? It's a very nice apartment. She's a very nice lady. It's very well situated, and I have my own restroom. It's a bit pricey. It's a pricey city, I guess. Yeah, no complaints to be honest. I would have liked to be with other students, but when you're not there and when you're on limited time schedule, it's so tough to find something, especially in September, because this is when everyone moves. But I am no longer homeless. And this leads into the final point of the video, which is the conclusion of high school. And here I want to make some general comments about my school, which I will not mention. Most of you know what it is already, and about the IB and all that. So, uh, I spent 7 years at this school. I had a lot of fun, lots of fun. I had a good time overall, but there are many, many flaws, and the problem is that these flaws are gonna continue to exist. That's a shame. And there are many ways these flaws can be organized. But let's say that we only look at quantifiable performance indicators, such as IB scores. I believe that, I don't want to say the name, but the school I went to, my school, gave students all the tools they needed to get any score they wanted, even 45, just on their own work and merit. But, but, first of all, the school did not truly help the students as much as it could have. And by that I mean there were several organizational aspects and almost bureaucratic things that were just done in such a stupid manner. So many boxes had to be ticked off. Uh, there were many ways that students could have been alleviated, but everything had to be done by the book in a way. Yeah, so I don't want to complain because I hate complaining when I don't have a better solution. But in this case, I can think of so many aspects of the International Baccalaureate diploma and the process that the school could have helped simplify. Sorry. For example, Group 4 project done in year 1. TOK done in one sitting, not this, what, I don't even know how to describe this stupid, dumb, drawn out 2-year process. More IAs in the first year. TOK, whatever did in the first year was so useless. Technically, it's in the rules, but anyways, this is what I'm saying. There are many different aspects of the IB which are so stupid, which must be done, but can be slightly bypassed, so to speak, avoided, at least alleviated for the students. Because all in all, the IB, or I almost, the IB is not some crazy, impossible boogeyman that's only for the 0.0001% of the IQs. It's very manageable, but it's filled with so many retarded, unrelated, stupid, bloated aspects, and that's what bothers students the most, in my opinion. So that's the first part. I'm talking about the IB here because it's so quantifiable. When it comes to improving a school, there are countless things you can do, but I can think of so many suggestions to literally increase the average IB score by 0.5 points. And these are things that can be done quickly and would basically not be any extra weight to the school, but just help students. Unfortunately, though, these changes probably won't happen. I bet the students who graduated in 2022 and those in 2021 all have the same things to say. It's kind of sad in a way because once again, I don't want to complain. Your IB performance is on you, but at the same time, the school could have done so many things to alleviate and smoothen the process. Now, what is ACS's fault is the teachers. And I say this with all due respect, and I obviously won't say any names, but there are some. First of all, sorry. First of all, many IB classes have very large syllabi, which must be covered, and are very extensive and whatnot, and it's a challenge to cover them. But there are some teachers whose performance is simply ridiculous for one of the most expensive schools in this country. Sorry. I won't say names, obviously, because I respect their privacy, but in some subjects, the teacher, in a way, gave up, and the students also gave up. And so everyone was just kind of sitting around and hoping that everything would work out in the end. Which in some cases it did. Like in my case for a subject which I won't name, but it's just silly. Once again, I understand that when you're teaching, you have to teach to 15, 20 students, not one. You can't pace and speed up and slow down just for one student. And in fact, many times in senior year, I found myself completely disconnected from the curriculum because I was basically almost done and I was like doing my reviews. Like teachers were recommending like their own study plans and whatnot, but I'm not talking about that. But there were instances where some teachers lost grip on a class, gave up, simply didn't teach, and I believe that for the most part, this is okay in middle school, in high school, 9th and 10th grade, but in the IB, when you're supposed to take international exams that are quantifiable, the accountability there is a lot more direct, in my opinion. Because, yeah, because unfortunately, all the work you do in the IB program is encapsulated by a single number out of 45 at the end of the day. So, as far as IB teachers go, there were some instances that were just ridiculous. Uh, and that is the school's fault. There is no way to get around that. Um, yeah, other than that, do I have anything else to mention for the IB at my school? Obviously, our IB culture was retarded. I think my class was actually a bit better, but like back in the day from the seniors, I would always hear, "Oh, this program is ridiculous, impossible." It's not. It's fine. It's manageable. Just be organized and have some luck, I guess. But uh, let's see, teachers. Oh, I found, to be fair, because I've said quite a few negative things about my school, but I found that in many instances, uh, most teachers, by most I am excluding those who I mentioned earlier indirectly, obviously, most teachers were extremely helpful if you actually walked up to them and asked them about the IAs or an exam concept or your EE or this or that or writing your 2K essay. Uh, there was a lot of help to be had. And I think most students at my school were pretty keen to get that. And most teachers were eager to give it, but there were also many instances where the IA, which is graded by the teacher themselves, when they could have just told you, I expect to see these 50 things or whatnot, when they should tell you actually how they're going to be grading you, when it was all cryptic, behind the shadows, and so on, and blah blah blah. This doesn't make any sense, and I can't really breathe because my nose is so clogged. Anyways, yeah, I do have some complaints about teachers, and in a way, it is also my fault. But you must understand that a classroom, some classrooms, can really, really fall apart, especially when the teacher is more laid back, the students get lost, and then both the teacher and the student simultaneously give up. Uh, yeah, it's the student's fault as well. And at the end of the day, your IB performance is always your responsibility. But because I had such a good experience at my school overall, and I just love it so much, and I want its improvement and betterment, I do think that there are some aspects which must be addressed. And the final complaint about my school is, in a way, I feel like uh, maybe this has to do with the fact that I had to go through the COVID years, or my graduating class or whatnot. But it never felt like the school was pushing us as much as it should. Uh, Obviously, we have agency. I have agency. I feel like I could have done a lot more in high school, and that's my fault for not doing that more. But I also would have liked an extra nudge from the school. Uh, Instead, it felt like it was just pushing you through until graduation. But once again, I also play a major role in that for being lazy. So, what more? Uh, uh, let's see. As you can see, this is not very planned. Uh, okay, I talked about exams, IAs, complaints, results, housing. Housing sucks. I couldn't talk about it so much, but looking for housing was such a horrible experience. My hair needs to be fixed, by the way. It's currently a mess. Um, but yeah, which brings me to my last point, which is to say thank you. That was very cringy, but thank you. I had a all in all, if I look back, I had a very fun time in middle school and in high school. A very, very fun time. I would especially like to give thanks to five people, and I also don't want to mention them directly. So, how do I do this? Let's see. First, let me blow my nose. That's a good first step. So, first of all, thank you to my longtime Bughouse partner. Thank you to the person who introduced me to Sweet Caroline. Thank you to the person with whom I watched Squid Game. Uh, who else do I want to thank? Because I had thought of five before, but I'm also a bit stupid. Did I write the list somewhere? Oh yeah. Thank you to the person with whom I thought of Space Gun, and thank you to Patatucos. Uh, Thank you to everyone else as well. I had such a fun time in high school. Thank you to Miss Validas. She helped me so much. Thank you, everyone. I really don't know what I'll say. Thank you to my parents, to my family, to my grandma, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins. Thank you. I'm gonna be starting in uni soon. Uh, I'm uh, I'm leaving on the 9th. Uh, yeah. Thank you, everyone. This is the end of the trilogy. The first video was uploaded like a year ago at this point. It's very weird to sit back and think about what you were doing a year ago and 365 days ago. I was such a different person with such different thoughts and needs and interests. Maybe not interests, but I was preoccupied with many different things. Yeah, so life is short. Sooner or later, we're all gonna die, so let's make it later. Awkward outro.